Dealing with a narcissist can be a challenging and emotionally draining experience, especially when it comes to them never taking your side on anything. It doesn't matter what happens between you and a friend, you and a neighbor, or you and a stranger. No matter what incident takes place, you are always at fault. If you come home upset and want to tell them of a horrific thing that happened at work or an accident, the first thing that they'll ask you is, what did you do? So you're always at fault. And this can tear us apart inside because there's never any support coming our way. We feel as though no one has our backs. And to be honest, if you're with a narcissist, your credibility from others is shot because the narcissist made sure of it. So you are alone. Unless, of course, you're lucky like me who has some pretty solid friends. You don't have support from others, and you certainly don't have support from the narcissist. Matter of fact, you have the exact opposite of support. You have the contradiction and the undermining. And so why? Why is that? The narcissist will exhibit a pattern of behavior characterized by a lack of empathy and excessive need for admiration and a sense of entitlement. When it comes to conflicts or disagreements, the narcissist consistently fails to support or validate your perspective. They lack that empathy. They just don't empathize with others because they're so focused on their own needs, their own desires, and their own feelings. So they never truly understand or appreciate the emotions and viewpoints of others, including yours. Their brain is like the brain of a 5-year-old. 5-year-olds just think about me, right? Because their brains aren't developed. That's what you have with a narcissist. Even when it comes to common sense stuff, they are soulless. They just don't care. They have their need for control. Narcissists have a strong need for control and dominance in relationships. Taking your side in a disagreement is perceived as relinquishing control, which goes against their core desire to be in charge and dictate the narrative. They have this fear of vulnerability. Supporting your side would require the narcissist to acknowledge their own faults or shortcomings, like they will, right? And because that would trigger feelings of vulnerability. Narcissists avoid situations where they might appear weak or flawed, making it impossible for them to openly side with you. They're busy maintaining a superior image. For those who are new to the world of narcissism here, narcissists have an inflated sense of self-importance and a need to maintain an image of superiority at all times. Acknowledging your perspective is perceived as a threat to their self-image, and it could imply that someone else's viewpoint is actually valid or even more accurate. How scary would that be for them, right? And then they have their projection of insecurities. Narcissists project their own insecurities onto you. Taking your side would force them to confront their own flaws, so they deflect by placing the blame on you instead. It's a lot easier for them. Then we have the manipulative tactics. Narcissists are skilled manipulators and use various tactics such as gaslighting or invalidation to undermine your point of view. They twist the facts, distort reality, or outright deny events to maintain control over the narrative. And of course, the pattern of disregard. Consistently not taking your side is part of a larger pattern of disregard for your feelings and needs. This behavior reflects the narcissist's prioritization of their own interests above yours, contributing to a toxic and one-sided dynamic in the relationship. You're always alone. Even if you're in the same room, you're alone. There is no support. The narcissist's argumentative behavior, it's surreal. They'll tell you it's black if you say it's white. They'll tell you it's cold if you say hot. Arguing is what they do. Making you wrong is what they seek. So you're constantly being invalidated. Your beliefs are invalidated. Your needs are invalidated. And your truth is invalidated. If that isn't abusing a human, then I don't know what is. What do you think that is doing to you? The argumentative behavior of a narcissist can have profound and often detrimental effects on their partner and the overall dynamics of the relationship. And so Understanding the characteristics of a narcissist argumentative style can help shed light on the challenges faced by their partners. So let's take a look at them here. But basically, if they argue, don't argue back. That's the trick. Defensiveness and blame shifting. Narcissists tend to be highly defensive and rarely take responsibility for their actions. In arguments, they shift blame onto their partner, deflecting any criticism and refusing to acknowledge their own faults. And this pattern can make constructive communication and conflict resolution nearly impossible, which is what they want. They want to win, not settle. I keep saying that you have different goals in what you want as an end result. Invalidation and dismissal. Narcissists invalidate their partner's feelings or opinions during arguments. They dismiss concerns, they belittle emotions or trivialize issues, creating an environment where the partner's perspective is devalued. This constant invalidation eventually erodes the partner's self-esteem and sense of self. Manipulative tactics. Narcissists are skilled manipulators, if you haven't figured that out by now, employing tactics like gaslighting to distort reality during arguments is what they do. They deny events, they change the narrative, or make the partner doubt their own perceptions. This manipulation leaves the partner feeling confused, anxious, and emotionally drained. We also have intensity and aggression to deal with. Arguments with a narcissist can escalate quickly, often involving heightened emotions, aggression, and intensity. And this aggressive behavior can create an atmosphere of fear and anxiety for the partner, who may become hesitant to express their needs or opinions to avoid triggering those reactions. They're in survival mode all the time. Lack of empathy. One of the hallmarks of narcissism is a lack of empathy. During arguments, a narcissist is unwilling to understand their partner's feelings or point of view. And as a result, this lack of empathy leaves the partner feeling unheard, unimportant, and isolated in their emotional experience. Control and dominance. Narcissists seek to control and dominate interactions, including the arguments I just mentioned. They use tactics such as talking over their partner, interrupting, and manipulating the conversation to ensure that their perspective prevails. And this control dynamic, it leaves the partner feeling powerless, unheard, unloved, and disrespected. And the reason that they're feeling these feelings is because they are being unheard, unloved, and disrespected. Then we have repetition of patterns. Arguments with a narcissist often follow predictable patterns. The partner finds themselves repeatedly facing the same issues, with the narcissist refusing to engage in meaningful problem solving. They're so immature. And this cyclical nature can be frustrating and contribute to a sense of hopelessness in the relationship. It's always the same topic that never gets resolved. And in every effort, it always ends up in circular conversations, round and round, re-explaining and never walking away understood or validated. The impact on the partner's well-being in this. The cumulative effect of a narcissist's argumentative behavior can have severe consequences on the partner's mental and emotional well-being, and I'm not even talking about the physical here. Constant criticism, manipulation, and invalidation can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. They are oppositional in anything you say, anything you do, and in any decision you make. Oppositional narcissism refers to a subtype of narcissistic personality disorder characterized by a combative and oppositional attitude, often marked by defiance, stubbornness, and a tendency to resist authority. Individuals with oppositional narcissistic traits are extremely challenging in personal relationships and even professional settings. They tend to resist and defy rules, requests, or expectations, regardless of how reasonable the expectations are. For example, if a superior asks for a report to be completed by a certain deadline, the oppositional narcissist will intentionally delay the task or refuse to comply. Or if you ask them to take the garbage out, you can bet that you're the one that's going to be doing it. But if they do, they will find a way to punish you for it in the following days. They will undermine authority. Individuals with oppositional narcissistic traits actively undermine authority figures. This can involve questioning decisions, spreading rumors, or engage in behaviors that erode trust and respect for those in positions of power. They're argumentative in nature. These narcissists have an argumentative and confrontational demeanor. They habitually engage in disputes, disagreements, or debates. They love debates, often over minor issues. Their goal, like I said, is not to seek resolution, but to establish dominance and control. They have an inflated sense of entitlement. Like other narcissistic individuals, those with oppositional narcissism traits have an inflated sense of entitlement. They believe that rules and expectations do not apply to them, and they will resist any attempt to hold them accountable for their behavior. Then there's the lack of cooperation. Yeah, cooperation with a narcissist. Collaboration and cooperation is challenging for them. They often resist working in a team, preferring to pursue their own agenda. And this lack of cooperation can hinder group dynamics in both personal and professional settings. Difficulty accepting feedback. They struggle to accept constructive criticism or feedback. Instead of using feedback as an opportunity for personal growth, they perceive it as a personal attack and react defensively. 5-year-olds. They undermine relationships. In personal relationships, narcissists engage in behaviors that undermine the well-being of their partners or friends. And this can include a refusal to compromise, constant criticism, or a dismissive attitude toward the needs and feelings of others. It's always to make you feel small. They have a constant need for control. Narcissists have a strong need for control, and they will resist any attempts by others to influence or guide their behavior. They prefer to be in control of situations, and they react negatively when they perceive a loss of autonomy. And I say they prefer, they demand. And by the way, it is important to note that these examples represent a range of behaviors, and not every individual with oppositional narcissistic traits will exhibit all of them. But regardless of whether you're dealing with an overt, a covert, or a malignant, chances are that you're dealing with some of these traits, which leaves you feeling completely unsupported. Your feelings are downplayed when you're going through hardships, and even shamed. They make you feel as though your matters are so trivial and you just over-exaggerate everything, or you're too sensitive, leaving you feeling like a fool and embarrassed and ashamed. All conversations are centered around them. You have no voice, and this leaves you feeling like a non-person. You become merely a slave, putting one foot in front of the other in doing for them. Again, that's survival. I'm going to do a video on survival, so that everybody can really understand what survival really means. You've become a robot. You never even get asked how your day went or what you hope for in life. They'll offer support only when it serves their interests or when they can gain something from it. If providing support requires self-sacrifice or doesn't align with their agenda, they withdraw or they provide the support grudgingly. They won't acknowledge your accomplishments, but expect super acknowledgement from you. They're inattentive. You're always alone with zero emotional support. One really hard thing in being with a narcissist is how they'll completely ignore your want for sharing something. You're watching a beautiful piece of music being played, and you want them to see. And you want them to see because you want to share an intimate moment with them. You're not just wanting them to see for the sake of seeing, but you're looking for a connection. It's important to you. There's never any connection. So again, survival, right? You're desperate. You're wanting some kind of connection. Every relationship is about connection. But with them, they might just glance over for a split second and then walk away. And this causes yet again a loneliness so deep within you, where you die a little more inside. And that's the non-existent that I just mentioned. They view interactions as competitions where they need to be superior. So in situations where support is needed, they instead turn it into a competition for attention or validation, undermining the person that was seeking support. So they turn around and they make it about them again. And all these things that I'm mentioning are the building blocks of a relationship. All of these things are the things that you aren't getting. Not one are of support. In fact, opposite of all of that. And then we run. And we run frantically trying to appease them. For what? A cookie crumb. A crumb. You are worth so much more than that. I shall leave you with all of this to ponder on in hopes that it can get you to fight back for you, for the worthy person that you are. You deserve support. You deserve someone in your life who's interested in what you have to say. You deserve respect and you deserve love. So I am wishing you a great week and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.